Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. So while support for Battlefield 2042 may be coming to an end, we do still have some more content coming for Season 7, and DICE have recently just dropped a roadmap going over where and when all of this content is going to drop, and they've also released a new trailer for the upcoming Crimson Front event, which sees the return of the Frontlines game mode. So we've got update 7.1 around the corner, we've got the stadium map coming, we've got the new LMG, we've got the new vehicle, and then there's another time-limited event later on in the summertime. We'll get into all of those juicy details here in a minute, but as always, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, do not forget to hit up that subscribe button. We will of course be covering all of Season 7, and then once the next Battlefield game does finally come around, I will of course be covering all of the news, the leaks, which will inevitably happen, and anything leading up to the release of that game. And then of course when the game comes out, we're going to be delving into that as well, assuming it's not going to be a total failure like Battlefield 2042 was. I'm honestly not sure I can go through that again. So yeah, cheers for that guys, thank you as always for the support. So the next piece of content is coming out on the 16th of April, that is next Tuesday, and it is a new time limited event called Crimson Front. And DICE have also released a trailer which you may have seen for this, and it's of course the return of the Frontlines game mode. So this is going to be 20 versus 20, actually a very interesting game size. I really like 20 versus 20. It's going to be on 4 different maps, so we've got Haven, Reclaimed, Discarded, and Redacted. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Frontlines game modes, basically you and the enemy team are only going to be fighting over one objective at a time. You take all of the objectives, you push the enemy back, keeping the front line going, so to speak, and then you have to destroy 2 MCOMs to win the game. So it's very chaotic. That's probably why they've slimmed down the player sizes a little bit, but I think this could have the potential to be a very fun game mode. Hopefully it's a little bit more balanced than Breakthrough generally is in Battlefield 2042, and you're going to be able to play this one for a couple of weeks from the 16th of April to the 30th, and as usual there are going to be some time limited bundles in the store. There's also going to be some free rewards by unlocking ribbons and things like that, so if that's your jam, then you can go nuts on the cosmetics side. Now, in addition to this new event on Tuesday, we are also getting update 7.1. Now, we don't yet have the update patch notes, but I did contact Kevin Johnson, one of the community managers, and he assured me that the patch notes would be releasing tomorrow. So as soon as I get them, I will make a video for you guys updating you on all of the changes coming in that update. All that I know of in it so far is that several changes to the visual recoil to several weapons is going to be in there, because as you guys will know, the visual recoil was a little bit over the top on some of the weapons, which was probably unintended. Aside from that, I really don't know what's going to be in that. There may not really be anything much, but there may be a lot of great changes. So either way, I will do my best to keep you guys up to date. Now, looking beyond update 7.1 and the new Crimson Front event, we do of course have the stadium map coming, and this one actually comes as a nice surprise. Instead of releasing in May as I originally thought it would alongside update 7.2, it is coming on the 30th of April. So we get the new event on the 16th of April, that's going to last for 2 weeks, and then we get the stadium map straight after that. Around another 2, maybe 3 weeks down the line, in mid-May, we are then going to get update 7.2, which is going to include the XFAD4 Draugr, the new stealth bomber, and we are going to get the new LMG, the DFR Strife. Now, as for the contents of update 7.2, except for the new jet and the LMG, we don't exactly know what is going to be included there. Are there going to be some quality of life updates, some weapon tweaks? Probably, but not necessarily guaranteed. But as I always do, I will definitely be making a video on that. And then leading well into the summertime, somewhere around May or June, we have another time limited event called Future Strike. And apart from the name, we don't really know anything about it, but it does sound kind of interesting, especially given the fact that in Season 7, one of the factions from Battlefield 2142, the PAC, has been alluded to, and, you know, we've seen this, what is it called, the Thousand Petals Coalition, which is supposed to be a precursor to the PAC faction starting up there. So the fact that 2142 is obviously a futuristic Battlefield game, Future Strike, maybe that's somehow going to tie even further into the lore of 2142. I'm not expecting anything crazy. I'm not expecting walkers from that game walking around in Battlefield 2042 or anything. After all, it is only an event, but it's definitely got my interest peaked. Now, after that, I'm simply going to assume that there is going to be no more content for Battlefield 2042. Of course, they're going to continue to support the game to some degree, right? So we're going to be getting, for example, like weekly modes in Portal. They'll probably bring back some of these game modes that we're playing now. So the Frontlines game mode, whatever this Future Strike thing is, they'll probably bring some of those back over time. But in terms of like new content, I don't really expect we're going to be getting anything outside of cosmetics. Maybe new cosmetics. I don't call that content. I don't consider that content. So whilst it is somewhat of a somber time that we're not going to be getting any more content to enjoy in Battlefield 2042, I'm already looking forward to the next game launching, which presumably is going to be around October or November, which is the time frame that DICE generally like to launch their games in, of 2025. So really, if you think about it this way, after we get the Future Strike event, which is supposed to come out somewhere around May or June, so that's halfway through this year, it's probably only going to be maybe, 6, 7 or 8 months until we start to hear some stirrings about the next game. It may not be any solid facts from DICE, but we'll probably start to hear some rumors going around, maybe some leaks coming out about what kind of a game it's going to be. And for me, that is always one of my favorite times of any Battlefield game, is when we don't know anything about the game and we're all sort of speculating and guessing and hoping, and then little by little we learn, more and more about the game, and eventually they have this grand reveal. However, one thing I would really like for DICE and EA to take to heart is for them to have more playtests of whatever the game is going to be. Having a beta test a couple of weeks before the game launches, or what was it, like maybe a month before 2042 launched, that just wasn't enough. Nothing really changed between the beta and the launch of the game. All of the problems that were in the beta were still in the main game. In fact, in some ways, the main game was inexplicably worse than the beta. But what they really need to do here is have lots of playtests. They need an alpha. And when I say an alpha, I mean like an early alpha, and they need to get some people involved in it. I know they worry about people leaking the information, but like, if it's gonna happen, it's just gonna happen. You really can't stop that kind of thing in this day and age, especially not with like a game as big as Battlefield. Every single Battlefield game that I can think of in recent memory has been leaked at one stage or another. So yes, some people may release some footage from the alpha or something like that, and I know it could harm the marketing of the game, but in my eyes, EA have never had a problem ever marketing their content. The problem that EA and DICE have is delivering on their marketing, delivering on a good product, not marketing it. There's always hype around the next Battlefield game, whether it's been leaked or not. So I really just can't reiterate that enough. They need to do alpha testing. They need to do beta testing. And when I say beta, I don't mean like a free demo of the game 2 weeks before it launches. I mean a proper beta test. And they need to work with the community. And I'm not necessarily saying with me or other content creators. Anyone, really. Maybe have like a random selection of players or people who have shown greater interest in the game. People who have been spending their time posting feedback about the game. People who have been submitting surveys, every single survey. Maybe if you submitted like every survey, well, maybe that makes you a candidate for some playtesting for the next upcoming game, right? I don't know how they will select people, but I just hope they do it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video today. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think about the upcoming changes to the game. Subscribe for more Battlefield, and I will see you guys in the next one.